to see you all coming in. Just waiting for the comments to load. It always goes boom really quickly. Waiting. Here we go. See, hey Belinda, hey Brenny, how yous going? It's taken a second. Sorry guys, it's just taking a second with the comments to load. There we go. Louise, Kimberly, Wendy. I miss me too sometimes, but I definitely miss doing the live, so it's nice to be here. I was in Brisbane MBS last week, which is why there wasn't a live feed on the Friday, but otherwise the live feeds are back on Friday. Here we go. Hey Lisa, Mel. Oh, they can't hear you too well, is it my end? Can everyone hear me okay? Oh, that's interesting. It's showing me that. That's interesting. It's giving me a, I'm a bit soft. I can hear you, but it's, Alright, so the mute button turned on when I took my earphones out, possibly. How about now? Can you see me now? Now okay? Yeah, awesome. Sorry. A dipshit move on my behalf. I didn't realise that the mute button turned on. Perfect. Alright, and my internet thingamajobbo is gone as well, so that's good. Alright, so guys, as we click in, loud and clear, nice. Excellent. So please feel free to ask for a reading. The more specific you are with your questions, the more specific I can be in my answers. Otherwise, please feel free just to ask for a general read. Guys, I always appreciate if you like and share the post. Obviously it's not compulsory, but as a common courtesy, at least like my page before you ask for a reading, as I always say. But other than that, no pregnancy, no legal, and no health questions on the live feeds, please. And let's go. I'm just going to jump back up a second. Alright, let's go. I'm jumping through. Can't hear your comments. Here we go. Beautiful. Kelly. I would love a reading and any messages from my angels, please. I do want to say to you, you know, it's interesting when I sit with you, it's almost like I see like a bit of a cloud sitting around you, and it was like a little bit of a stormy rain cloud, and it was sitting really around my shoulders, and I would just, when I was shown that, they showed me very quickly that it was passing, okay? So I just want to say to you, just sort of take that on board as I sit with you, but I feel like there's, almost been sort of unfair expectation, and you know sometimes we've got to sort of grit our teeth and just deal with it, and you can see that even that doesn't sort of settle with me in my own personal energy, but you know it is just in that sentence there, like gritting our teeth and just bearing through with it a little bit. Okay, I want to pull you a couple of cards, but I'm very drawn around your work side as like it's like that's where a lot of energy is being drained, okay, and then it's sort of throwing back through the relationships and the family and all of those kind of little bits and pieces. But as I said, I feel like it's passing soon, that worry or concern that's sitting around with it. It's funny, they've never showed it to me that way, and it's even as I sit in my head right now, I can still see that grey cloud that's just sitting there around, and then it gets taken away. Let me have a look. If you've been thinking about making some changes in your workplace, okay, I will say to you that I feel like it takes a minute. And so that minute, though, I feel like is a little bit of your energy as well, kind of figuring out what it is that you want to do, believing that you've got, you know, everything that you need to make that shift over. And I don't want to be too, you know, I believe in yourself with that. It is just a matter of sort of compiling everything in, because, you know, sometimes we might be, I don't know, using a cash register, you know, and we kind of think, okay, well, we'll use a cash register, what's that? But we don't sort of take into account all of the, like the money keeping skills, the customer skills, sort of, you know, connecting with the person who's using the register, all of that sort of stuff that's there. So I feel like that's where you need to just have a look at. When I sit with your cards, you've got the external conflict there. It's caused by outside forces and people. And as I said, that's what I'm just feeling. A lot of energy that's coming in on you that isn't necessarily fair. But in life, shit happens. And it is just about that, sort of, as I said, gritting your teeth, bearing through, and actually making the choices. Sometimes when our ass is pushed up against a wall, it makes us kind of have no option but to look forwards. There's nothing behind us because we're pressed up, you know. And when we look forwards, we get a better idea of what it is that we want, what it is that we're sort of sick of, and what it is that's not gyrating with us. And it's not like we can just click our fingers and all of that's just going to magically change, but I feel like that energy is in there, okay? And so that frustration, that sense of itchy skin, as I call it, is there for a reason. It's asking you to pay attention to what's out of whack, and it's almost like answering your questions, you know? What do I need to be happy? Have a look at what you're not happy in, okay? As simple as it sounds, it's a complex journey and you understand that. So, seal the deal. Make the commitment to move forward, all right? It's, yeah, it's like you're stuck in a bit of a wash cycle. So, take on board what I've said. I hope that helps, and thank you for joining me. Alright, let me catch up with the comments, get past all the can't hear you stuff. Beautiful, alright. Joanne. You know, Joanne, when I sit with you, I want to say to you that there's going to be, there's time abound, and it's almost like we've got some choices of what we do with that, you know, and it's, you know, sit quietly in our own sort of time, or even in our own space in our own quiet time, use that time to explore, all right? And that's sort of almost what I feel. It's almost like we've got some choices, and as far as it goes, it sort of sits with the outcome of where our happiness sits. And it's, you know, yeah, I do feel like that comes off the back of created free space, and so by that I actually feel like there's either been a little bit of loss, or, you know, just something that is absent, that is no longer there, and you're finding yourself just feeling a little bit more free. And, you know, and you can see, I'm not like, oh, you're free. You know, it's almost like that energy of like, what do I do with myself now? And you've spent so much time putting your energy out to others that you actually struggle to bring it in for yourself. And I just feel like there's a little bit of, you know, opportunity in that, take you out of your comfort zone. But, yeah, just be mindful. I just want to see where your cards go. So you got the, hang on, let me do it all at once, because yeah. I'm not going to read them all out, but I just wanted to get a general gist, and I'll show you some. So yes, you've pulled out the health card, the heartache card. I'll know if they come through them, but I'll explain in a second. The uncertainty card. And that's where I wanted to have a look and see, and that's what I say, like there's just that energy sitting around at the moment with that time on your hands. Intention, okay, be mindful where you're lay, and that's where I say just sit back and have a look at the opportunities that you've got around you to actually step out of your comfort zone. The things that you want to do the least are the things that you need to do the most. Alright, I don't necessarily want to do we don't do the health readings on lives, but I just want to say to you that pay attention and take ownership, okay? Because I feel like there's a little bit of that kind of attention that's sitting around you, and I do feel like it moves past, but I feel like there's a little bit of mindfulness and ownership that needs to come into it. It's almost got this energy that it's bigger than you, but it's not, it's the other way around, okay? So take that ownership back with it. Still a little bit of period of time with it, but you will start to move forward with it, okay? I feel like there's an opportunity to reconnect in with some family here too, and it may be spending some time away with them, like a weekend away, or you're travelling to connect in with family, and I feel like it kind of delivers what it is that you expect, okay? And again, you can see that I haven't got this huge smile on my face, but I see in that though you find your way and you see what matters most as well. So I kind of do still want to encourage those connections that are there, but definitely kind of looking after yourself. It's like if there's a sunny day, we've got an opportunity to open the windows and let some breeze in, or we can shut them and close the curtains as well, you know? And so just be mindful of the choices that you're making in that. And again, I just feel like it comes from you being such that beautiful giving soul, okay? So just, yeah, take a little bit back for yourself. I hope that helps. You're very welcome. Very welcome. Amy. You know what, Amy? I see a lot of creativity with you, and it may not be literal. I use a lot of symbolism in my head, thanks to my crazy imagination. But as soon as I tune in with you, I have a piece of paper in front of me, and I can see colour. You know, and it's really nice, bright, vibrant colour. And it's not necessarily creating this beautiful landscape. It's creating expression. I feel like there's a lot of energy that's going out into this. You know, it's interesting when I sit with that. It's almost like I've got a jar of paint in my hands and it's just bursting to spread colour, you know, it's like the lid let me out. And so just, you know, if you are feeling a little bit trapped within your own energy, literally do that. Throw some pens, some colour, whatever it is that sort of tickles your fancy in that creative way. And don't look to go, oh, I'm going to create this beautiful thing. Look to go, I'm going to throw my expression out over it. You know, you've got to, I feel like you kind of meditate a lot without realising that you meditate. And so a lot of daydream and sort of that energy that's there. And I don't necessarily want to suggest you sit off and daydream, you know, lack your responsibility, but I find that you find yourself wandering down that daydream path quite easily if you're doing the dishes or, you know, doing something that just gives you that mindfulness that sits there with it. And in that, I feel like there's a lot of insight for you that you tend to put to the side as well. You're a lot more connected into yourself than what you realise, and you've obviously got quite a humble energy because you're sort of still not taking ownership of how great you do actually connect in with yourself. So enjoy it, have fun with it, play with it, be a little bit more daring with it. You know, kind of set yourself a little bit of I don't believe this can happen, but it's what I want, so I'll set myself up for it. And you watch and see it come in, alright? And you'll be able to go, alright, and I'll try something else, okay? I actually feel in that, it's like if I go 2 years forward with you right now, there's a lot of shifted energy, okay? I don't feel like that you're in the same place, and I feel like there's a lot of new people around you as well. I don't necessarily want to say that you've let go of the old ones, but I feel like you've brought a lot of new people in. You're feeling quite settled around your work side of things too, and I feel like there's been some changes in that. And I can see a little bit of ownership and direction in it. I don't feel that you're in your final destination by any yards of the stick, but I certainly feel a lot more goals behind you. When I sit with you in that moment, I can see you're sitting there talking with work colleagues and things like that. It's probably like a Christmas party or something. And I can hear you talking about your goals. You've got a definitive direction, whereas right now it feels quite loose. So definitely spend that time connecting in with yourself and listening to yourself. As I said, you're getting answers without even kind of paying attention. And we do that in the most silliest of ways. We get shown, oh, I knew that, you know what I mean? That kind of energy. But yeah, as I said, have fun with it, play with it. If I pull you out 3 cards quickly, you have got so confronting fears, okay, and that's what that's all about. Like, just stay connected with yourself, be a little bit more daring, set yourself some challenges. You're going to be really pleasantly surprised, and you're going to see that weight that you carry with yourself and you kind of protect yourself with, you're going to start to want to take that off. It's going to get a little bit hot under there now. Stay connected with yourself, again, you know, exactly what I've been saying. And support. So just letting you know that, you know, even though there is those big shifts that I can see coming around with people and everything else like that, your foundation's still strong. Okay, as I said, I don't see these people removing, I just see people coming in. So know that you've got lots of support. I really want to challenge you to be really brave and just tap into that quirky, funky, eclectic kind of side of yourself, you know, and just, you watch and see where it takes you. It definitely links in with your work side of things too. So if you're trying to be really studious within your work and for all wanting purposes of a description quite black and white, you'll find that you'll always feel a little bit stagnant in that. Definitely allow the colour to flow in around that as well. Okay, so I hope all that helps. Karen, I just want to say hello, Fiona. I don't see you on here too often. It's nice to see you. And Karen. General reading. General. I feel like I see a problem with, you know, it's really interesting. I'll just say I see a problem with the chicken. Okay, and it's like just a point of concern. I don't know why they're telling me that, but yeah, it's almost like there's either like a little bit of egg bound or has eaten something or is just off colour for a couple of days, but for whatever reason they want to give me a lot of assurance around this chicken being okay. Alright, so I want to give that to you. Yeah, nice. I feel like there's a little bit of releasing going on. So I feel like there's been either. It's funny. I feel like it's a combination of information, but I feel like it's like your own energy, your own peace of mind, your own thoughts, your own emotions. You know, all of those kind of things. Just not necessarily moving forward, but resolution is the word that I get in my head with it. And it's okay. And so I feel like there's almost a little bit of emotional guilt that sits in there as well, and there's such a strong sense just to release that and to really kind of just allow yourself to continue to stand in your own energy and in your own power. And I feel like at times that you're just, I don't know, perhaps, you know, just feel like you're supposed to stay humble for whatever wanton reasons, but yeah, it's like I've got this choir behind me just going, no, don't, you know, no, stand and shine as bright as what you know you should be, and never ever ever say sorry for that. And so as I continue with the card, so you got the security card that's there. It always just talks about you're safe in your choices and things like that. So with that brings the improvement of self and situations, okay? When I sit with this, I'm actually drawn to, again, creation and things like that. I know that I was drawn to the chicken at first, so it's as funny. As much as I want to giggle, I don't want to take away from the depth of this card, but I also want to say I see some improvements in... when I say chickens, I see the veggies, okay, and I feel like there's been some improvements in that. I wonder if the chicken ate some of the veggies. That's interesting. It's a weird combination they put in my head. Anyway, you've got the moving on card as well, so moving on towards better things. And when I sit with that with you, I don't feel like it's a literal move. I just feel like it's, as I said, it's all about the emotional energy that sits there with it. And perhaps, you know, I think that the purpose of the reading and connecting in with you is giving you a little bit of validation around that and letting you kind of know that those feelings that you're expressing are okay. You know, and just to kind of, yeah, just to own them. So I hope all of that helps, and thank you for your support. Alright, so guys, just as I catch up with the comments, please feel free to comment more than once. As I've said, if you haven't liked my page and you would like a reading, please take the time to like my page. Sorry, Karen, your message can sit up there for a second. I've scribbled past it. So I also want to say that the next event, so I'm in Goulburn on Sunday, which is really exciting. I haven't done Goulburn before. I'm there with the Living Wellness Psychic Fair, and I'm on stage at 12 or 12:30. I know I should know that off the top of my head, but I'm really excited to be on stage. I love displaying my mediumship up there, and I feel like I make some really nice genuine connections with people, and I'm getting very comfortable with being okay with that. And so, you know, with that, it just makes me feel even more and more connected. So I'm quite excited about stage on Sunday, and always thank the beautiful Danielle for the opportunity. And then, like, after that, there's Sydney MBS is the next event as well. But I'm at Central Coast Spiritual Church on the 25th of September. I have not done that one before. It's at Long Jetty, and again, looking forward to doing that too. So yes, a little bit about that. So guys, again, please feel free to comment. No pregnancy, no legal, no health questions on the lives. If you have shared, as I've said in the description, please let me know that you've shared. I can check, and I'll be awfully disappointed if you lie. Oh no, because I'm psychic. But yeah, if you have taken the time to share, and I do appreciate that, and you're seeking a reading, just throw in that you have shared as well. And if I am drawn to you and see your comment, I will endeavour to read for you too. Oh my God. I have your 3 books. Oh, nice. Thank you. That's so cool, Lisa. Lisa's telling me that she's got my 3 books, which is really nice. Are my cards available yet? No. Let's just leave that one alone for a second. They, you know what's funny? I only just realised there's a card missing from the deck as far as it goes. And so I feel like I'm going to put that card in, and then I'll be ready to, to actually move forward with that. No, I want to say yes, I saw your comment as I was first logging in as well. So it's, and it was just this nice energy that was there. And I feel like when you talk about a message, that it wasn't just words that you spoke. I feel like I'm being shown, look, I see a candle, and I see almost like a, it was ceremonial, for want of a better word, you know what I mean? And I just feel like there's that nice connection that was there, and I feel like a giggle with it as well. I do want to say, I feel like there was a cheekiness in the connection that's here, and it's almost like I want to take the piss out of you is what I hear, in saying that, like, you know, I'm not that far away, you don't have to try so hard, I'm right here with you, you know, and it's this full of love and smiles, and I feel like you guys could make those jokes between each other, you know. But it's nice and it's special, and I can feel the heartfeltness in that moment. And so, yes, I want to say just yes, I was catching that one there for you. So, yes. Danica, I would love any guidance and messages. You know what I want to say to you? If it looks like a duck, walks like a duck, and quacks like a duck, it is a duck. And I feel like there's an opportunity or a promotion that's coming in work side of things that is like not all that it seems. You know what I mean? It's like, oh, look at this pretty little, apple we've got dangling here in front of you, but they don't show you on the other side there's this big ass bite coming out. You know what I mean? Just be really mindful to read the fine lines in prints in anything that you're, even because I see contracts as well. So, and I hear word finance. So even if it's like there's a loan or, something you're making an inquiry about, remortgaging, whatever it is, just make sure you're dotting all the I's and crossing the T's, because whatever they're going, look, this is really cool. There's a catch. And you may be happy with that catch, but be aware of it, because I feel like otherwise it's, if anything, it just feels insulting. So just, I get that as I tune in with you, but let me pull you a couple of cards. It's interesting when you've got the Take 5 card, Intuition, and you've got the Patience card, and I get straight to the Guns N' Roses song with that tonight with you. Anyway, they start singing, but it's so in my head right this second. It's interesting. I actually feel like this is connected in with it. That's there. So I want to say that, like, whatever that is, like that contract, that patience. Sorry, I'm focused on the song. That contract, or the if it is connected to the work and the contract within that and things like that. I feel like this is something that's got a time side on it. So it's like, I was expecting that to come in 3 months, and because of this little hiccup that's there, it takes longer. Okay, for some reason I just feel a connection to that as well. I want to say to you, even if the two things are separate, I want to keep that there. It's like we're waiting on something in anticipation that's sitting 3, 4, 5 months ahead of us now, and it's going to delay. Okay, and it's only just a movement. I want to say delay, not a stop. Okay, but I do feel that sits there, and it's got like this really disappointing energy to it. I'm sitting in the home, so I feel like it's something that is connected to the home, or somebody or something that is coming into the home as well. Okay, so I'll leave that part there with you. Specifically one friend, and it may belong to a group, but I feel quite drawn to one particular person, and I feel a heartache that's there with it, and they show me a distance in the relationship, and I feel like this is actually a logistical distance, okay, and it sits with a little bit of heartache. And so I feel like if you're not aware of that, there's going to be news of either someone making a little bit of a move or perhaps stepping out of the workplace, okay, but I just feel a distancing that sits there. Maybe you, I can't quite see your picture, but I feel like I'm seeing the blonde hair, and if that is you in your description, this hair is lighter, okay, but it belongs with a woman with that, straight blonde hair. I can see the connection that's there and the heartache that sits there, right? So, and you know what? It's the heartache that sits there. I'm not going to leave you with that. It's only a distance, and I feel like that's probably just been highlighted with that assurance that you're not actually losing this person. The relationship and the connection is just going to change for a little while. But I feel like there's a lot of energy from this person that may just create a little bit of, as I said, distance in the relationship for a while. That has nothing to do with how much love and everything else is there. All right, so yeah, whatever reason, that is the purpose there, and I hope that helps. All right. I'm going to jump through a couple really quickly. Jodie, you're meant to have a reading. I was trying to grab up ahead of you, so let me focus on you for a second. And of course, I'm happy to read for you. Jodie. Let me just stop these comments for a second. It's a pain in the bottom. It's not a pain in the bottom, but the comments pull through really quickly. Alright, Jodie. Oh, there's a lovely reading for you. I feel like there's been some tension in a relationship, and it's a close relationship, and I feel like for all want and purposes, for the sake of, I guess, wanting this relationship to stay in its own beautiful shape and form, there's a lot of stubborn energy on both sides, and I feel like if we kind of just drop back down and realise that we're different people and let the relationship reshape around that, then we're able to move forward. While we're trying to keep it as something that was sitting here, you know, we're not the same people, we've grown, we've moved, we've had experiences and everything else, but it's like we're still trying to make everything fit into this ideology that's sat there without taking into account all of the growth and wisdom and changes and everything else that's just come into play, okay? And that's where the synchronicity is not falling into. So with that, you know, there's some acceptance, and there's, you know, it's not the greatest feeling in the world as far as going, having to go, okay, we need to embrace these changes. Change can be hard, but moving forward then, I want to smile, and I see literally, you know, these two energies, and they come back in, and there's one, all right? So I'll just leave that there with you. Yeah, there's definitely communication on both sides, and I say that with a respectful smile, but you know, if one of you is feeling like the other one is the only one that needs to shift here, that's not the case. That's nice. That's the first time that's happened. Alright, so you've got the clearing out the stable cards. So out with the old and in with the new. Exactly what I was saying, okay? This old stagnant energy is not serving you any purpose. And just kind of have a look at that as well. When I say across the board, I don't mean go and analyse every aspect of your life, but even expectations and ideologies and everything else like that you have, without allowing yourself the privilege of all the growth and energy and that wisdom that's come into play for you as well. You know, it's like trying to fit a square peg in a round hole. It's you know, it's going to catch the edges, and you're going to end up with trying to squeeze something square up a round hole. Use the visual in your head to see how painful that would be. So, clear out the stables, out with the old and in with the new, and you'll see, you know, that shovel's full of shit. Okay, so be mindful of where the intention is. As I said, you know, where energy goes, energy flows. We need to be mindful of that. I giggled because I was drawn to pull out two cards for you at once, and so as I did, you had the S card, which would have pulled out another card anyway. So for me, it was a nice just validation that's there that there is healing possible here. We are moving forward. Okay, and so again, even if that emotional side of things, because look, we've got ourselves, we've got our higher selves, you know, there should be a connection, there should be a relationship there, and everything else like that. So really, without you being in front of me, I want you to take that in the context to which it's relevant, because this is definitely connected into a tight relationship. All right, and I'd really like you to take that on board, because I feel like once you allow yourself that space and freedom that's there, as I said, everything starts to clear, the energy. It feels good, the healing starts to come in, and I feel as I said, I literally see these two energy balls coming back in. And that's the thing, when I connect in and meditate and I see my higher self, I either see my higher self as myself, but when I'm really kind of just looking at my higher self, I see it for what it is, and it's just energy, because I'm energy. And so, yeah, I'm just curious if that's what I'm saying. But anyway, I hope that helps. Thank you very much. Miller, I wanted to grab and say to you, speaking of mirrors, basically, have a look in the mirror and assess what it is that you see. Give it a score out of 10 if that's what you feel the need to. But whatever you do and whatever you see and whatever you reflect and analyse, it's basically what you're putting out to the world to come back at you, okay? And while that's not ideal, perhaps in certain ways, then, you know, in different ways, the universe will protect you and go, yeah, if you want someone that sees you like that as well, imagine being with a partner who sees you the way that you see yourself. And just kind of take this on board as well. So I want to jump on you, Vicky. There, you've got your two comments together. You know, and it's interesting to kind of look at it that way. But that's what it is. Whatever you see in the mirror is basically, imagine someone loving you like that. Is that what you want? You know, and like it or not, believe it or not, that's the way it goes. If what we think of ourselves is what we're going to bring in. And so really kind of, as I say, I always say, have fun with it, but fall in love with yourself first. I don't mean that in that whole cliche way, but you've got to be happy with who you are. You've got to be settled with who you are and everything else. I'm not jumping in and having a look psychically how connected, you know, you know yourself this well or this well. That's up to you to assess. But, you know, that's what sits with it. Now, obviously, we've also had in the background, you know, the last 2 years of chaos and everything else like that. So give yourself time to, you know, let the energy flow. I don't feel like you're out enough. I don't feel like you're making connections enough. and I don't feel like I can see it enough, okay? And so, Miller, just kind of take that on board. Loosen that checklist a little bit as well, or at least give them a chance to check that checklist off. I feel like you're doing it from a distance before they even walk up. You've got to, you know how people talk about resting bitch face? You know, I feel like there's a resting bitch energy sometimes, and it's not that we're like being bitchy or, you know, in any way, shape or form, but sometimes our energy can be quite, you know, we can sit in contemplation and reflection and people watching and all that, and so, you know, we sit like that and it can create this don't touch me sort of vibe. So just take all of that into a board. I don't want to timeline you because I feel like that's where it sits. I do sit with 12 months around, but I'm also showing that right now the energy needs to shift a little bit because otherwise that's not going to work. And so, as I said, take on board what I've said. I hope that that helps. But Vicky, I kind of wanted to share in on that with you as well. There for the most part, you've got several that come in and out. Okay. And so again, just I very much want to say that when we look in the mirror of how we love ourselves is exactly how somebody else, and you know, again, like I feel like the universe looks after us in some way, shape or form like that. But with you, I feel like there's just a closer energy that's there, you know. When I sit with Miller, I feel like it's boom, and then there's that longer term relationship that comes in where Vicky, I feel like there's a little bit of journey that comes into play around with you. Don't be afraid to do that. Don't feel like you've got to meet the right person on the first date, because who is that? You know what I mean? And sometimes when we sit with an ideal, it's not exactly what comes into play and we miss other opportunities. You know, don't feel like having, you know, several dates over several months is a failure. It's not. It's exploration, it's fun, it's connection, it's doing all those kind of little bits and pieces. And so, yeah, give yourself permission to flirt, have some fun with it. I feel like that actually really speeds up your journey, and you know, you'll sit back and you'll giggle about, you know, how you went out with it's funny, I get 13 for some reason. I know that feels like a big number, you're probably going, what? But, you know, I feel like I'm just sitting back and joking. You might be counting them all up, because I feel like I'm watching you around a campfire. It's night time. I feel like you've got a white wine or whatever that whitey wine drinks are in your hand. It's there, and I can see you giggling and laughing with your partner. Okay, so again, there's a nice energy that's there, but allow yourself to have fun and play and explore and have demands as, you know, this is what I like, this is what I want, da 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 da. Yeah, and it does eventuate, okay? So enjoy the journey. You're very welcome. You're welcome, Miller. Alright, Ellen. Bloody little fly thing. Any cards for me? I'd like some guidance. Ellen. You know, it's funny, look at your name and look at your profile. I keep getting the word boss babe in my head. If you've got some business energy floating around with you, I very much want to encourage you to stick with it. But I feel like the discipline is still loose, okay? And so it's not that the effort or, you know, the diligence and everything else is there, but, you know, it's funny. So I do it sort of with my own business that's there, and it's something that I heard once. But if we've got a business that we create, you know, and we might be starting off with a notepad and a pen and a mobile phone in our hands, okay? And so we kind of look at the assets of our business and go, okay, well, they're worth, you know, phone's worth, I don't know, $200, notepad's worth $1.20, and the pen's worth 50 cents. And so we look at it and we go, okay, our business is worth, you know, $21.20. And so we treat it that way, instead of kind of looking at what that mobile phone, that notepad and that pen can actually create. This, you know, those three items together can create $1 million business. You know, and so come in from the get-go treating it like $1 million business. You know, it's faking it till you make it. You can't dazzle them with brilliance, baffle them with bullshit. It's all of that stuff that comes into play with it. But give the things that you put the effort into, the respect and the dignity of the grace that you see at the end, not the worth that you see at the beginning. Okay, if that makes sense. Okay, and I say that with like enthusiasm and everything else like that, because you've got this really nice thing happening there, but it's yeah, treat it like $1 million, okay? Even if that idea is still brewing, definitely keep that in mind with yourself. I feel like you're feeling quite run down. Make sure you're not burning the candle at both ends of the stick. Slow down. But it's fun. Yeah, have fun, but like look after yourself in the process, you know. probably not the best example to use, and I don't mean to make it in reference, but you know, one of the rules that I've always had around myself from, you know, learned experience, that if I'm going out on a big night, for example, then that day I'll make sure I've drank, you know, like 2 litres of water, that I've had really good food through the day and everything else like that. And, you know, one, it helps sustain me, helps my body recover quicker, I have a better time, but it's self-care as well, you know. So, yeah, whatever reason that example makes sense, that's what I got for you. I can feel a shift around you with one of your close friends. There seems to be a lot of shifts happening around tonight. There's always a bit of a theme. It looks like a duck, walks like a duck, and quacks like a duck, then quack, 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 it's a duck. Just looking to see what comes out here. I want to say, for all accounts, like, you know, alright, so I'll just give it to you as I get it. So I'm feeling a little bit of deceit that is coming in around you, connected in with a friendship, okay? Now, I don't mean to go looking for this deceit, alright? If it's there, you'll find it, you'll know it. But that's what I want to say. If it looks like a duck, walks like a duck, quacks like a duck, it's a duck. If something is feeling like it is off, something is seeming sus around something, especially if it's in relation or connection to another person, then trust that energy, trust that instinct. You know, sometimes you'll see somebody drop a glass of water and you say, hey, you spilled that water, and they'll deny it to the hilt, even though, you know, the evidence is there, the water's all over the floor, the cup's empty, and you saw it with your own eyes, but they'll still stand there and deny it. I feel like this is going to be kind of that situation. All right, and so trust in your gut and don't be afraid to cut things off and cut people off that need to be. And I know that that's pretty full on, but the energy is there strong enough for me just to give it to you as it is. As I said, don't go looking for the deceit. Don't go manifesting, you know, self-fulfilling prophecies and all the rest of it. That's there. I'm really reluctant to say stuff like that over the life for that reason. Okay, so just take it on board. If it is there, you will feel it, you will see it. Don't go looking for it. It will fall in your lap, trust me. All right, but if you choose to ignore it, expect to see it again, okay? Expect to see it again. So if I pull your cards for you, you've got the Be Positive card, so your attitude is a choice, but be mindful of external conflict and where your energy is sitting. It's time for you to take a little bit of a risk. Nothing changes if nothing changes, but there's going to be a bit of heartache in that, okay? It's very important that you stay connected to yourself because you've got a phase out coming in. As I said, that's a beginning and an ending, and I'm not surprised, to be quite frank with you. It is going to be beneficial for you. You're going to start transforming and connecting back into your true self. You've got the Prosperity card that sits there with it, but you've also got the Detox card. And you've got the Answers card that sits there. So what that is saying to you, you know, the Detox card, think about the volcano, okay? It sits there possibly dormant for years and years and years and years and years, and then without warning, it just explodes. And have a look at that. This is something that isn't new. This is something that's underlying, okay? You've probably seen problems here before, but it won't be new to you. But you have to make the choices, trust on your gut, not on the information that you may have all there. And that's what that's saying. The answers are still blowing in the wind. You have to trust and move forward, okay? So just what you need to know most is that there is still very strong love and trust around you, okay? This feels very targeted. It doesn't feel broad. But just to know in life shit happens, don't get caught in your own head with it, and just make sure you look after yourself through those processes, okay? But again, you're feeling, just a little bit run down and things like that with it as well. So just make sure that you're not ignoring your own needs within that aside, like completely different, you know what I mean? But yeah, burn candles at both ends and it'll eventually burn your fingers in the middle. So I hope that helps. Alright. I want to say yes, but that future may not look exactly what you think it is. I see respect, I see smiles, I see commonality, I can hear a conversation that can go on with things in common, but I see it as like we're standing next to each other. We're not embraced with each other. Okay, so you may find if the question is intent on a lover relationship type energy, you may find that you actually end up kind of better off as friends. Okay, and if it is a question around that friendship side of things, then yeah, it's got a really nice strength and stability to it, to be honest with you. So depending on what that future is, that question that you're asking, that's what I do see around with that. Communication though, it's almost like we've got to sort out our bullshit to get to that point. Yeah, okay, so for whatever reason, I just want to share as well that, you know, that perhaps that friendship that I'm seeing there is connected to like a lover relationship. And you know what, that's really, as I said, it feels nice and smiling, it feels really connected and bonded and everything else like that. But it's not enough like for that deep, passionate, forever love. And I just feel like there's a little bit of a, just make sure that it's everything that you need. In a really nice positive way of, you know, at worst case scenario, we've got like a best friend vibe happening here. Make sure it's everything that you need, okay? Because it is all nice and well to, you know, have a best friend that you're connected to, and, you know, a lot of people would probably say, oh, you should be best friends in a relationship. But if the passion isn't there, the physical connection isn't there, the depth of the dive isn't there, that eventually will come and catch you. So, again, just take it on board, and I hope all of that helps. Alright, let me catch up. Fleur. Such a pretty name, I hope I'm saying it right. Fleur. You know, it's really interesting, Fleur. I want to ask you, I know I might not see your answer, but that's okay. I want to ask you if you've got a blanket or a jacket or something else like that. It's knitted anyway, and I feel like this is something that is gifted to you, and I actually feel a grandmother energy that steps in, and it's almost like she's just reminding me. I don't necessarily feel like this is something that maybe she made to give directly to you. Could just be something that you've ended up with in your possession as a treasured keepsake, but I'm just curious if you can validate that around. Again, I know the comments flow really fast, so I'm not necessarily looking to have it validated, but if it makes sense for you, I want to give that to you because it's really strong when I first tap in with you. It's nice. I see her. She had the salt and pepper hair as it started to come in, but then went to that silvery grey to the lighter white grey that's there. Don't feel like she's a tall person. Don't feel like she's a short person, but I feel like she would have lost some of her height in an older part because I can see that. Yeah, I'm wanting to slouch. Let me pull some cards. Yeah, nice. So I want to say as I pull your cards, you've got the heartache card that comes out, but I feel like what that is showing me in connection to is more so just a reflection of the last 12 months kind of energy, you know. It feels like I've been dealing with this, dealing with that, you know, that kind of energy that comes into as opposed to like that literal heartache that sits there. And it's nice. I actually feel like there's just a little bit of assurance there because you've got the security card that comes in and it's like, yeah, it's all good, you know. These challenges, these trials won't go on forever. They are smoothing out. But taking a chance, nothing changes if nothing changes, and it's almost like, you know, I'll give you, as I say, so it's weird the way I'm seeing a bunch of hay, you know, and we're wanting that hay all cut so it's all hanging at a nice level line, and then we've got this big piece that's hanging out. And so it's almost like we know, you know, if we cut that piece off, it's all going to be level, but somebody's going to be really disappointed if we cut that piece off. And I know that's a weird example, but that's the one they give me, so that's what I'm going to give you. But it's like we've still got a couple of things to break away off of here. We've got a couple of things to let go of that are quite attached to actually bring in that full neatness that we're looking for. All right, so just kind of take that on mind because I feel like we've got to do things that maybe aren't necessarily in approval of other people, but I want to say that their permission was never needed in the first place. Okay, so just take that on board. Once you let shift through all of that, okay, then the next three cards I've pulled are about transformation. Just being mindful of your balance. As I said, just take the lessons that you're learning right now about, you know, what needs to stay with you, what needs to be released, and you sit with the joy card. You've got to, when I say intuitive energy, I don't necessarily want to say like, yes, it is psychic intuitive energy, but it's different. It's a real healing, it's got a real healing energy to it. I imagine that you're really connected into nature and things like that, and aren't necessarily into just all the airy fairy side of spiritualism. That you actually, have some connection to that deeper part of it. It's quite a nice energy, so just honour that as well. But I hope all of that helps. All right. Flippy. Oh, that's funny. Hey Keith. I'd love a reading if drawn, please. So I don't want to keep my arms off the table when I shuffle, it's all shaking. Nice. Alright, let me focus on you. Keith. I don't know if you can hear my, I worked from home tonight. I don't know if you can hear my ferals going off in the background, but they're quite vocal in the background tonight. It's good, having fun, living life. It's funny, Keith, I feel like I've just noticed that for a reason. And it's, when I see you, I feel like there's been, what I see is like you in a garden, and it's like you're just appreciating the simple things, getting joy out of, a flower that's blossoming, or, something that looks beautiful sitting on the tree. And it's like, I said, it just fills you up and it makes you feel really nice. And there's that reminder that's there just to, it's, I'm showing that if you keep connected in with yourself the way that you are, I'm going to say the word health again, but the health energy that has been around you, and health covers many things, mental, spiritual, emotional, physical, will continue to improve, okay? Will continue to improve. It's like you set a little game plan around yourself, in a quest to kind of bring improvements in bits and pieces, and it's been sitting a little bit stagnant around you. You're not maybe been seeing it as fast as what you wanted to, but yeah, I want to just kind of validate for you that it sits. Now, when I pull your cards, you got the cycle cards, so beginnings and endings, they're in natural order, okay? So again, I feel like there's just that reminder that you are moving in the right direction, even if it does feel like you're chasing your tail here and there. Then you've got that freedom, which is release, self-love, determination, but we need to stand strong a little bit longer. Okay, so that's what it is. It's just like, have a little bit of patience, what you're doing here as well. Okay, so if I continue to draw your cards, I'm quite drawn in on the family side of things. And again, I feel like there was a reason why I all of a sudden became aware of my family's energy around me, because it isn't just connecting to one person. And when we think about generations, if we've got a child, they've got children, if we've got parents, then the sisters, siblings, brothers, all of that sort of stuff. So I don't feel like I'm just sitting with one line. I feel like I've got a group of people around me. And it's almost like there's a division or a split, or, that kind of feeling that runs down the middle. And so, I won't see how deep that is, but I will say to you that I feel like there just needs to be peaceful with that. I see it very often where, I don't know, say for example, I'm not married, so I'm just making something up. I don't talk to my husband anymore, we're getting separated and don't talk to him anymore, and so all of a sudden I expect my sister to hate him, and my brother-in-law to hate him, and all of this kind of stuff. And so rather than just allowing those people to go, I've had a good connection with that person for 20 years, we're going to, stay respectful to them too, even though you two are put. So what I'm trying to make a point of in that is feel free to sit with your own convictions, okay? You've got the wolf in sheep's clothing. So again, just always be mindful that's pretty literal. It's the only card in the deck with no words because I just didn't think it needed any. But not to be afraid of letting go of those things that are actually binding you, okay? And it's in relation to that energy of which we just spoke. So trust your intuition. You are being guided to make some big changes in your life, okay? And with that, I feel like there's, just a little bit of sorrow of some things that we let go of, but in the long run that it's much better for you, okay? So I hope that all helps. Thank you, Keith. Sky. Sky. if someone's been, you know, somebody who makes jewelry, you've been thinking about making jewelry. I've bought way too many earrings lately, so I'm focused on the jewelry. But I'm seeing creation, and when I focus in on you, it definitely connected in with your name. But I get that Lucy in the Sky with Diamonds, and when I hear that song in my head, I'm showing the jewelry. And so, again, I can put the symbolism in my head. I don't want to get too specific with you because I can't validate. But I just want to say to you that definitely the creation would be there. You know what I mean? Yeah. So, I want to say to you this, okay? Keep any ideas you've got around like business creation, moving forward towards a promotion, all of that kind of energy that sits there in that context, okay? And what I'm seeing in it though is that the skills there, the passion's there, the knowledge is there, but the structure isn't necessarily so much there, you know? It's like if I was trying to make earrings, I'll just use that as an example because that's what was given to me, that I've made all of these really amazing, unique pieces, and that's exactly how they do feel. But I've sat them at a table in a shop that I didn't tell anyone I was coming to, that only gets 3 people in there, and wondering why, you know, just kind of waiting for that energy to build and for it all to turn into something. You know what I mean? So just, instead I want to market, I want to be screaming at the world, hey, I've just made the world's best earrings, and, you know, all of that kind of thing that's there. And it just feels like it's too much effort. I don't know what to do in there. I don't know what to do. I don't know what to do. I don't know what to do. So I don't do anything. Go and, you know, jump on and learn. The things that you want to do that you're missing the A, B, C to, or the D, E, and F to, go and grab. And I'll give it to you because it's in my head. There's a website for everyone ever interested called udemy.com, udemy.com. It's always on special. It's great for little trial things. So like, oh, I might feel like I want to learn painting, you know, go on there. There'll be something that teaches you a little bit about it that you've paid bugger all for, that you can kind of go, oh yeah, I really engage with that, and now I'll go and commit to something formal or whatever else that's there. So, but my point is that we don't need to feel like the things and gaps in our knowledge per se that allow us to move forward aren't obtainable, okay? Because they are just little, you know, just little fill-ins that are there. So just, yeah, take that on board. Let me pull you a couple of cards. Song in my head now. You've got a whole bloody album of mixed hits playing in my head with you. I actually really do. You know what? I really want you to to listen to your vibe, okay? And I know that might sound a bit airy fairy, but literally listen to your vibe, because as I put your cards down, I've been through like 5 songs in my head, you know, and I'll hit them as I show you. But just take that on board, because there's a reason for that, and that creativity that's there. And see how like when I'm reading for you, I'm like doing that. That's your energy that I'm sitting in, and it's like we're just sort of sitting a bit frustrated. We're not quite sure which direction we should be going, and we're sitting stagnant rather than kind of, you know, jumping up and down, letting all that energy out. We're sitting in contemplative energy, and it's making us halt. It's making me stutter. All right. So as I pull your cards for you, you've got the support card that sits there, which, you know, just talks about the fact that sometimes it's okay to fall on your ass. There's going to be lots of love and people to help you get back up. Don't be afraid to take some risks in your life, okay? It's time for you to let go of what no longer serves, and you need to call on your strength, all right? And so this is the second song, so you had to take a chance, you know, and I had that, I think it's ABBA, take a chance, take a chance, take a chance on me. That's all I know of that song, that's all I'm going to give you. And then somewhere, you know what I mean? As I said, literally as I was putting the cards down, you had the bloody album playing in my head. And there's a reason for that. As I said, it's the creativity that's there. But take a chance. Your goals are not impossible. You've got people that will stand in your way and be jealous of you, that they're quite content with a certain stagnicity in life and will not necessarily support anyone that moves above that, because then it makes them reflect on their own bullshit. And so they'll rather run you down than actually look at themselves in the mirror, okay? So just be mindful. Like, I know that's straightforward, but you've got a little bit of toxicity around you that you're going to have a choice to clear out, okay? And I don't feel like these are your friends and closeness and things like that. You probably find it's close to older relationships, a family, it could be second cousins, you know what I mean? But if they're having an impact and an influence on your opinion of yourself based on theirs, time to detox. All right. So stand strong in yourself. Don't you let yourself get caught in your own head a little bit too much. There's, you need to just sit in that energy. You will find a way through this once you trust yourself a little bit more. So just take all of that on board. You've got a really nice energy of vibrancy here. I see secondary too. So as far as it goes, like there's a nice financial growth around when you allow this to come in, because they show me that there's two income flows. One of them is a job, but one of them is what you're doing yourself as well. Own it. And if people don't like it, then that's about them, not you. And don't let them rain on your parade. There you go. That can be the last song, because I'm hearing that belted out. That's an old one. I feel like that was in a musical somewhere. But anyway, not important. So I hope all of that helps, Guy. Okay. All right. You're very welcome, very welcome, very welcome. So guys, I'm here for 5 more minutes. I'll do 3 more readings in that time. So just before I do, before you all start going, boop, 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 I am back next Friday. I'm still here on Friday. So I will have the live feed at 8 o'clock. I was a little bit late this evening, but I've been doing some work experience for one of the qualifications that I've been getting on in the background. And so yes, the day was a little more dragged on than, that's not the right word. I'm very passionate about what I do through the day there. But anyway, I was on a little bit late. So we've got Sydney MBS coming up. I'm in Goulburn on Sunday. I'm at Central Coast Church on the 25th of September, I believe it is. And very much looking forward to those events. So stay tuned. But I'm going to do 3 more readings before we finish tonight. Guys, if you haven't already, always appreciate a like on my page. Thumbs up and a heart on the live also helps share with the algorithm. Vicky, I did you a reading. I did read for you, Vicky, a little bit earlier. Let me slow the comments down. Kimberly, may I have a general life reading? Anything you see, thank you kindly. Watch your back. No, I don't mean like watch your back, I mean literally watch your back. I feel like you've got a little bit of a weakness or vulnerability that's sitting kind of mid-centre. I feel it more on my left. We do mirror, so it may be the right, but I'm going to stick with where I'm feeling it. It just sits as a vulnerability that's there, so just make sure you're picking things up and everything else like that. Otherwise, yeah, this feels like a sore back, but you know what I mean, that can be a pain in the butt. I know when I got back from Brisbane, I couldn't move my neck for a couple of days, and that was fun, but used to that here and there. Kimberly. Nice. You know what I want to say? I'm feeling a really nice energy between a couple of connections, like family-wise with you. I was quite drawn around your mum's energy or a mother-like energy, and it's where things have been tension. There's like just love, and tension's just, you know what, when I use the word like kind of pain in the bottom, tension feels like too big a word, but it's nice. I just saw this really, so even if there's been a little bit of worry or concern towards this person, that feeling of embrace was definitely a feeling of peace, okay? And yeah, peace in all shapes and forms, so it was nice. But when I pull your cards, you got the freedom card, release, self-love, determination. You know, it's nice. I'm going to, go energetical, I guess, with you, but that's where the energy sits. Because I feel like this is about connecting with yourself. And, sometimes we start to get to a point in our life where we're like, you know what, this is who I am, and I'm happy with that, and I fought hard to be this person. And just being comfortable with that and enjoying the freedom that it brings and being comfortable in your own skin. Okay, so, yeah, it's almost like we're just rocking it. I'm feeling a lot of joy coming up for you. It's funny. It's like, okay, we don't need to worry about the Pacifics here. Just know that, these next few months, it's nice. It's like there's a lot of activity. I feel like there's either like a wedding or a significant celebration or something else that's coming up in the warmer months. I feel like as it starts in the day, it carries on into the night. And I'm feeling, you know what, I want to say that it's almost like a reunion energy that's there. So some people that you haven't seen in a while. I just feel really excited about the months coming up. I feel like you're feeling better than what you have in ages. And so even if you've been feeling great, you're going to feel even better. Okay, it's nice. Everything's fallen into place. Everything's coming up Millhouse. That's where I stumbled. And I know that that's a silly saying, but it's it's one that I'll use. So it's but everything's coming up Millhouse, and so it's like, if we're planting a flower and we're expecting it to pop up on the 1st of January, the 1st of January you're going to walk outside and you're going to see that little sprout sitting there. The everything is coming into place, and it's such a nice feeling. It has me excited. I want to smile with it. So I just want to say, sit back, enjoy the ride. Trust your intuition, absolutely. Look after yourself. Don't take things for granted, and I know that you don't, but you understand what I'll talk about with that as far as looking after ourselves and, gratitude and all of those sort of bits and pieces. But enjoy the ride. Enjoy the ride. And I want to say, if a slippery dip comes up anywhere in all of that, go on the slippery dip. Okay? I'm seeing you going down a slippery dip, but to me that's kind of fun. So, again, enjoy, Kimberly, and I hope that helps. Alright. Brenny. Second last. Second last. Hope you feel drawn to me. I'd love to hear what you see for me. I'm more than happy to go last. Last but never least. So one more after this, guys. Woo. I'll leave that one there for you, Brenny. I'm interested to see if you've been either tuning into your own. I'll stay with intuitive, but healing abilities. So I'm seeing it through the hands. I feel like you've got hot hands, and even as I say that, I get a wave of heat that comes up through my hands. It's nice. Don't be afraid to embrace that. It's practice it on your dog, and you'll see what I'm talking about. Just set the intention of bringing peace, calmness, healing. Whatever it is that you feel that animal needs at that time, and just watch and see how they respond. I think you're going to be pleasantly surprised, ooh, look what my hands can do. Reiki is an absolutely beautiful modality, and it's one I strongly encourage everyone to learn the concept of. Alright. Yep. Okay, so when I pull your cards, I'm actually quite drawn to your work, and I feel like you've almost... but I want to say be forced to make some changes, and that may come from either the way that you're feeling, or for whatever aspects, but for whatever reason there's that feeling of forced to make these changes. Okay, now I feel like you've been holding on for as long as that you possibly can. Again, you've obviously got that loyalty and dedication, but sometimes the hand that we hold is a hand that holds us down, okay? And so it is time to sort of move forward. You got the self-denial card that sits there, which talks about self-sabotage, refusal, stubbornness, all of those kind of little bits and pieces. But I feel like this energy is around you because you've been trying to do the right thing. You've been almost made promises, and those promises keep letting down. It's like, oh, another week. And it's like, I can't do this anymore, okay? So stand strong. There is a completion that's there. So I do feel like you move on from that, okay? And that, for me, usually comes crashing down. So it'll be like the straw that broke the camel's back kind of energy as you move forward, but it is time to let go of what's no longer serving you and binding you, okay? This release thing binds, okay? A bit of betrayal, but... that's what it feels like, but you're moving on towards better things, and with that you'll see improvements. You'll see improvements in your relationships as well. Just have a little bit of patience, look after yourself through the process. But if it looks like a duck and walks like a duck, it's a duck. I'm surprised that one didn't come out. But if I continue with what you need to know most, is that there's a little bit of uncertainty, but keep yourself grounded. Really connecting with what it is that you need in your life right now, okay? And it's not just like what you need in your life right now, what do you need in your life to make everything okay? The big questions. And so be mindful of your health, and that's spiritual, mental, physical, emotional. Make sure you're doing you, okay? So it's time to stop serving others and serve yourself. But I feel like, again, in the work context around that, and take that in the context that's there. The card that jumped out is your healing card, okay? So it talks about being patient but allowing that healing to come in. Holding resentment to things that we have to just accept. We've got to find a place of peace in that. I know they're easy words to speak and not so easy to do, but take that on board, because you know what, you're fine here, and I feel like there's that heavier energy that's there, but as I step through that and move on from it, I leave it all behind, and I feel really good. You know what I mean? This doesn't leave any scars, so don't cut yourself. Alright, so I hope that helps. Alright. So lucky last, and so again guys, just as you all start to leave for the evening, Goulburn on Sunday, Longjetty Spiritual Church, so which is Central Coast Spiritual Church, on the 25th. Sydney MBS. I probably will take pre-bookings for MBS, but there will not be any pre-bookings for Saturday and Sunday, only Thursday, Friday. If you're interested in making a pre-booking, let me know. Sydney MBS books out. I always book out. So if you are definitely wanting a reading there, my advice would probably be to jump in before you get there. But other than that, guys, it's been an absolute pleasure. I'm going to read for one more person before I jump out this evening. You're absolutely really welcome, Brenny. And I will be back next Friday, and you will see me hopefully a couple of times through the week on the lives as well. I will share what that looks like though as we go. Alright, yeah, absolutely. I was drawn to you, Denise McDonald. Lucky last, maybe. Anything for me, please, Liz. Alright. Now I've got my little internet thing up again, so I'm going to catch up with the comments here and just make sure you guys can stay with me for a second. Alright, Denise. Denise. You know, Denise, I feel a grandmother energy that comes around you. Sweeter lady that's there. I feel like for you she was tall. So I feel like she's passed before you've grown up. So she's taller than you, like child to adult kind of feel. I don't necessarily want to say that you're a young girl, but she passed, but she shows me that energy that's there. And it's nice. Just as I sit, she's just handing you, like, I feel like I'm handing you lollies and sweets and cuddles and kisses and all that kind of energy around. It's just like, ooh, I can give you all of that. I just want to do that for a second. The support that comes in with that as well. So I just want to connect in with that because I feel like she tells me that you've actually been feeling her around you, okay? So it is her that sits around you, and just know that she's definitely sending you lots of love. You've got the self-denial card, which talks again about self-sabotage, refusal and stubbornness. It's time to look after yourself a little bit more and trust your intuition of what's going on here, okay? Again, there's a lot of energy here about loyalty and where we throw that this evening. I understand that, but where energy goes, energy flows, and we generally will flock together with that. Not surprisingly at all, you have the Spirit card that come out, okay? And when I created this deck, Spirit wanted a sign that they are around you, okay? So she's coming in that strong that she's not just waiting for the card, she definitely wants you to know that she's there. But it is time to make some changes. You need to look at the bigger picture and look at the long term. This external conflict that is around you, it's time for it to shift out, okay? Don't hold on to that which no longer serves, okay? But you've got a really nice strong connection in your relationships. You've got the Unity card that sits there. Alright, and that for me always talks about strong love. But yeah, again, it's time for you to take a chance. Release what no longer serves. It will serve you to do so, okay? A little bit of patience, a bit of frustration. Not going to have all the answers as you move forward. You know what this feels like a lot as well? Just so it stays in context too. Our own habits and our own bits and pieces and things like that. It's interesting, and it may just be because you've got a lot of spirit that comes in and around you, but I'm feeling like that relationship that you need to let go of is the one of self-sabotage that you have with yourself. And I don't want that to make it sound bigger than what it is, I'm a brilliant self-sabotager. I could procrastinate like nothing else. And it took me a long time to kind of realise that I was not scared of success, but from just like background of low socioeconomic, it was all kind of really unfamiliar territory, and I didn't know what I looked like in that, and so I kind of avoided it subconsciously by self-sabotaging in ways I didn't even realise that I was doing. And so it's that energy that I want to give to it, not just that you sit there studying, oh, I'm not going to do that. It's not like that. So I want to share that with you. I hope all of that helps. Thank you very much for joining me this evening, and I hope I've been of service to you all. So guys, thank you very much for joining me this evening. Sorry, I've got something in my throat. Always away in the last second. But yeah, always a pleasure. It's always that last second. Always a pleasure. Thank you for joining me. And I will be back on Friday, and since my freaking throat is going berserker right now, I will leave it there before I make too much of a twat of myself. And thank you very much. Look forward to the next time. And as I say, if you can't be good at it.